Hey y'all, Tanny Cooks here. This video I'm going to show you how I cleaned, cut, and seasoned with a dry rub 15 pounds of beef ribs for a delicious Sunday dinner. And be on the lookout for part 2 coming out later where I cook it. We're also doing Instant Pot beef ribs. So I have these beef chuck riblets. They were $2.94 a pound. And I got 3 packs of those. And then from Harris Teeter, I got 4 packs of the beef ribs, and these were $5.99 a pound. So it's gonna be enough beef ribs for everybody. So these are the seasonings that we're gonna use on our dry rib that we're gonna let marinate for a couple hours. We're going to start off with some brown sugar, some garlic powder, onion powder, black pepper, mustard. So it's gotta be kind of a wet dry rub, mesquite seasoning, and onion salt from Trader Joe's. Okay, so now it's time to wash our ribs and clean them. So I'm just gonna take my knife. I have a discard baggie here, so I'm gonna put the plastic that I take the meat out of and put it into my trash bag here in the sink, which is really just grocery bags that I reuse. So I already cleaned and sanitized my sink, so if any of the meat touches the sink, it is okay because it is clean. So these riblets are interesting. They look pretty meaty, actually. There's quite a bit of little bits coming off of this, so I think I'm gonna end up letting these soak in some water for a while. Just so all the extra pieces of fat and gunk can come off of it now in the cleaning process in the water, and it won't be in my pot when I cook it in the Instant Pot. So I'll just put them in this bowl to soak as I am opening the remaining wraps of ribs. And using this knife is so hard when your hands are wet, so be extra careful. In fact, if you wanted to open up all of your packs with a knife before you even brought it to the sink, that would probably be smarter. We're just gonna leave these in the sink because these were the cleaner ones anyway. So I'm going to let these little ones continue to soak. You can already see some of the fat that's coming out of the sink. I'm clean the back of our ribs. What we're going to do is take our knife. You can use a paring knife or a steak knife. For this rib, I just needed something sharp, so that's why I'm using this. Otherwise, if it's easier like pork ribs, then you can use a butter knife. That wasn't doing the job for this. So you just stick your knife underneath the membrane above the bone and wiggle the knife to cut it and lift the membrane. So once the membrane is lifted, then you can take a kitchen towel or a paper towel and just grab it with your hands and pull it. And these beef ribs have tough membranes, which you can see it's pulling away. Can you imagine chewing on that? So that's what we're just gonna go through and then cut off any excess fat because you don't want to chew on that. So we're not trying to take off all the fat, but just the extra amount. Take your time because you're working with a knife. You don't have to rush. This is the actual beef chuck riblet. It'd be interesting to see if they taste any different. Beef rib. I'm gonna leave these whole because I cut some of the other ones, but you can see the fat on here is pretty thick. So we're just going to do the same process, run our knife through, and then grab a paper towel and rip. Go. I'll probably start using a kitchen towel to do this because I've been going through a lot of paper towels. for these ribs. Although I am doing more pounds than I usually do for a single meal, so I guess there's that. And you may need to reposition the meat as you cut through. Just do whatever you gotta do to cut the meat, the membrane, and not your finger. Last one. I guess I'll just do it in layers. So this first layer of meat, I'm gonna add some French's mustard. Now there are a million ways that you can season your meat. I'm just showing you one way today. I'll probably show you another way another time. So mustard contains vinegar, which is a meat tenderizer. You could also put straight apple cider vinegar in your cooking broth. This is the onion salt. So I didn't put the onion salt in the dry rub mixture because I wanted to sprinkle it just so I use just enough and not too much, since this does contain sodium. And you know, a lot of people just have this natural habit that when they get their plate of food at the table, they add salt and pepper before they even taste it. So I add enough salt for flavor, but I don't overdo it. And that's intentionally. A lot of people have high blood pressure and they feel fine. They don't have headaches. They have no idea they have it. That's why they call it the silent killer. Some people don't even find out their blood pressure is high until they find out they have kidney problems. So if your blood pressure is high for a while, it can cause problems. You don't want problems with any of your major organs, right? I'm 43, so that's more real for me now than it was when I was in my 20s or 30s, that's for sure. So I have the salt added to this layer. So now I'm going to use my clean hand to get some of my dry rub out and add it to the meat. And then the hand with the glove is the one that's touching the meat marinade. That's our dry rub that we made with brown sugar and seasonings. So the mustard is also going to help our dry rub stick. And we're gonna add the rub to both sides. You can smell that smoky mesquite. That is awesome. And the meat isn't even cooked yet. So we're doing this in the pressure cooker, so it's not even gonna take that long. I think I'm just gonna start off with 35 minutes in the pressure cooker, and then I'm gonna stick it in the oven, so it's gonna continue to cook there. So now I'm gonna get my next layer of ribs. And some of these, as you've seen in the previous clip, I cut into individual bones. So I guess this next layer will be the ones that I didn't cut. There we go. So same process, add mustard. Not an exact amount, you just want it completely covered. And I promise you, when this is cooked, you're not gonna be able to say, oh, there's mustard on this. You're just gonna be like, oh, there's a nice tang, there's a nice flavor, and it's super tender. Our onion salt. And now with the clean hand, the dry rub. Looks like I made just the perfect amount too. That's 1 cup of brown sugar and then 1/4 cup onion powder, garlic powder, and a little bit less of pepper, like about 1/8 cup. It really depends on what kind of seasoning your family likes. So if your family likes a lot of pepper, then you certainly can add more. You can add cayenne pepper, chipotle pepper. Like, the options really are limitless. It's just important to do what the people you're cooking for like to eat, right? And so here are the single bones. Not that many. I might cut some more single now that I see it's not really that many. Yep, I think I will. So we're adding all this delicious seasoning to the meat. You know we're not gonna cook this in no plain water, right? That's not how I do it. I mean, water is good, of course, but when you're cooking delicious food, we need every layer of the cooking process ingredients to be well seasoned. Oh, I did the perfect amount. Look at that, y'all. I'm kind of impressed with myself. Oh, wait, look at that. I'm gonna leave that whole. I got some in single bones. I'll cut some with 2 bones. How about that? And then we'll leave some whole. Sounds perfect to me. So we're just gonna cover this with plastic and let it sit while we go ahead and do our greens. I guess I'll go ahead and let it sit in the refrigerator. Here are the ribs, marinated and seasoned. This is a big pan too. So I'm gonna take my sauce, Dr. Pepper sauce that's been cooking, and add it on top of my ribs and let them cook in the oven for about another hour. That's what we're gonna do. Looks delicious.